happening, everybody? We are here on episode 3 of the Grim Wiz Project. Grim, how you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
I can't complain. Life's good. Fucking just chilling, enjoying this beautiful weather as we're approaching spring. How about yourself? How you been?
Enjoying the warm weather myself while it lasts. Could last another 6 months, which I'm totally content with.
Nice. Well, in today's episode, Grim and I are going to be talking about classic video games, retro video games from back in the day. And those particular games, as you can see above me right now, that we're going to be discussing is the original Resident Evil, Resident Evil 2, and Resident Evil 3 Nemesis.
Yeah.
So, Grim, when you were first introduced to these games, I know you and I have had quite the similar story in our introduction to, the first Resident Evil that came out. I believe it was 1996. Going back.
Yeah.
And tell me a little bit, tell me a little bit how you were introduced to Resident Evil.
Oh, shit. Oh, man. My dad got it when it first came out on the PlayStation. I can't, for the life of me, I can't remember if he went to, like, the midnight release for it or not. I don't know if he did that for Resident Evil or if he just did that for the PlayStation itself. I can't remember offhand. But regardless, my dad got it when it came out. But obviously it was the long box version, the original long box version.
Nice.
Of Resident Evil 1. And
nice. And did you watch him play it?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
And throughout your dad's first playthrough, and we're going back quite a bit. Now that I think about it, the 30th anniversary of Resident Evil is going to be next year. Right now we're in 2025.
Yeah.
It came out in 1996, and 2026 is right around the corner. We're a couple months away.
Yeah, I can't believe that shit.
I know, right, dude? It's insane how fast time is flying, brother. Friggin', I had a very similar experience because when I was younger, around the time Resident Evil came out, for the PlayStation 1, my older brother, he would visit on the weekends. Excuse me. He would visit on the weekends, and he'd bring his PlayStation 1 with him. And he had a game that he'd set up. He'd come up to my bedroom, set it up to, I had a small, probably like a 13-inch tube TV. Nothing crazy. It was just a small TV. Had the buttons on the side of it. It didn't even have a controller. The squiggly antenna on top. And he would set up his PlayStation 1, and he brought over the game Resident Evil. And he was like, I'd like to show you this game, broski. So I sit down. I must have been about 8 years old, maybe 8 or 9 years old when I first saw the original Resident Evil, and it changed my life. It changed my world.
Yeah, same here. Right. And
I remember as a kid sitting there, and he had the PlayStation set up. He turned it on. The initial startup screens for the PlayStation 1 to this day, very iconic. That classic sound. Once you fired up the PS1, and then of course it goes into the introduction of Resident Evil. And I remember sitting there watching my brother play it, pick his character, go through the opening cutscene, and for its time, I know they used live actors back then, right?
Yeah, they did.
And I had zero idea of what we were getting into, And so, what was really cool was my brother, like, he'd let the cutscenes play. Now I'm glued to the screen. And next thing I know, he plays for about a half hour or so. And I remember that first initial cutscene, the first zombie, that iconic zombie, after you go into the dining quarters and examining the blood. And then going through that door and seeing that first cutscene with the zombie head turn. I think probably one of the most legendary cutscenes of all time.
That literally scared the shit out of my dad.
Mm.
I mean, well, it didn't literally scare the shit out of him, but figuratively speaking, it scared the shit out of my dad. It scared the shit out of my dad. He had a big ass flat screen TV in his room.
Yeah.
And this isn't the flat screens that we're used to now, like TCL TVs, Hisense TVs, and things like that. This was, I swear to God, this fucker was huge. And it scared him. It scared the crap out of him.
What about yourself? How did you feel when you saw that first zombie cutscene?
Oh yeah, it scared me too.
Yeah, it got me going. My jaw dropped, and it was just like it at that moment you knew exactly what you were getting into.
Yeah.
You knew what was going on. There were zombies in this mansion, and what a setting for a zombie video game to take place.
Right.
And in a creepy mansion at night, really set the mood at that point.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I remember after that cutscene, that cutscene alone literally was the first thing that I saw that I was like, well, I'm hooked. I need to know more. I need to, I need to keep playing this game. But I remember I didn't initially start playing it right away because, like I said, my brother would play it for a bit and I'd watch him.
Yeah.
And then next thing I know, he's like, all right, I'm going to go downstairs and hang out with Dad. And he just hands me the controller. He's like, good luck. And I remember sitting there as an 8, 9-year-old kid, like, you kidding me? Now I'm going to play? After all those zombies?
Yeah. My dad did something similar. I was sitting on his lap when he was, I mean, obviously not during his first playthrough, but during one of his playthroughs, I was sitting on his lap in his chair. He had like a I don't know if he had like a recliner back then, but I was sitting on his lap while he was playing. I don't know if he went to make a phone call or answer the phone. He gets up from the chair, has me sit down in it further or whatever, hands me the controller, and then I start playing it, and I'm like, oh shit, oh no, this. Okay, I don't know here. I don't know what's going on.
I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what buttons to hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. It was, ladies and gentlemen, Grim and I had a very similar experience on our introduction to the world of Resident Evil. And since then, now I'm 38 years old, still love playing it, and still love playing the classics. It's something about the original 1, 2, and 3 Nemesis that they're timeless.
They are. They are.
And so recently, they finally released. I remember, Grim, you are a PlayStation Plus premium member, correct?
Yes, I am.
And so the beauty, if you want to explain some of the beauties of being a PlayStation Plus premium member, go right ahead.
Yeah, it's incredible. You have access to the entire PlayStation Plus catalog.
Basically, you got one. Oh, sorry.
Oh no. Hey, it's okay. Yeah. If you you can upgrade. You don't have to get premium right away. You can start on essential and then gradually make your way up, or you can jump from essential, which is the first tier, obviously, but then you can jump right up to premium if you want to. You don't have to pay like an extravagant amount either. You can just do it on a monthly basis. And from my more recent experience, because I remember when I first had premium, I did it for I think it was like $100 for a whole year, and I think I did that for maybe the first year or two that I had it, but then eventually I had to just do it in 1 month increments, which is only $17.99 a month.
Okay, that's not bad, and that's really good information right there, because anybody that wants to play the original Resident Evil, Resident Evil 2, and Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, if you're a PlayStation Plus Premium member, you can now play those games on your PlayStation 5.
Yeah, you can. And just to clarify, they are cross-buy. So in the event that you guys do not have a PS5, you should still be able to play the PS4 versions.
Oh, that's right. You can become a PlayStation Plus Premium member on PlayStation 4, correct?
I believe so. Yeah. I believe so. Yes.
I think it's really cool because, again, it just shows how timeless these games are and how important they were to the culture of video gaming and the evolution of video gaming, especially when it came to, like, you know, survival horror, as they coined the term. You know, when these games came out, right, key things that were very important were item management, ammo conservation, you know, health conservation, you know, all things that you know, sometimes, like, not just engaging in a fight against multiple zombies, but trying to get out of the room without getting bit or wasting ammo.
Yeah. Because
you know, and it's just, it created this new entry level to gaming where, like, you can see that from where we are now, I mean, even to this day, going into Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, like, I know we're going to be jumping around here. We're not going to go in chronological order.
No.
We're just going to, you know, talk about the points, like, you know, points about, like, the games and, you know, what it meant to us. And when it came to Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, you know, we saw with Resident Evil, the first one, it had its corny lines in it, right? The voice acting. Now, when you watch it in 2025, you're like, wow, this scared the hell out of people back then? And I was like, yeah, back then we didn't have games like this. We had, you know, Super Mario Bros., Super Mario World. So, like, Mortal Kombat was, like, the most violent thing we saw at that time. So to have a game where, like, you're picking up a shotgun off a wall and then a lever goes off, the amount of puzzles that you had to solve in the first one. Not so much. Well, I want to say, like, what do you think you know, that's another, hold on a second. Let me backtrack here. That's another thing that's great about Resident Evil. Like, the original 1, 2, and 3 had some really interesting puzzles.
Yeah.
And I feel like they were, like, the first to kind of incorporate that, right?
I believe so, yeah.
And it's just like that, like, learning what you had to do. Certain doors were locked with certain emblems carved into the doorknobs or carved into the door. And it's like, you gotta, you know, in the first one, you had to find the armor key, you know, the sword key. You know, they had a bunch of different, you know, the armor key, the sword key, it was the helmet key, and what was the fourth one? I'm having a brain fart right now.
I don't remember offhand.
We had the armor, the sword, the helmet, and was it the shield?
Maybe.
I remember in Resident Evil 2 they did a very similar key setup where there were 4 sets of keys that you had to find, because Resident Evil 2 took place in the RPD, the Raccoon Police Department, and there was a heart emblem key, a spade emblem key, a diamond emblem key, and a clover?
Club.
Right? The club key. Yeah, it looked like a clover because they were all like, those were all the symbols for, like, a deck of cards.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if I remember, they didn't really do like, cause like right in the first one and the second one, there were four keys that you had to find in order to progress throughout the game. And then in the third one, Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, we went from a mansion in the Arklay Mountains with Resident Evil
Yeah.
down to Raccoon City, playing the RPD, the Raccoon Police Department in Resident Evil 2.
Yeah.
And then really, really exploring Raccoon City. There was some nostalgic moments where you were back at the RPD, but getting to explore a bit more of Raccoon City and all the things that took all the events that took place there um, during these games. And with Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, I I don't remember there being like a set of four keys that you had to get, but the puzzles in Resident Evil 3 Nemesis were definitely, as the games evolved, RE3 Nemesis really took it to another level with RNG.
Yeah, specifically the damn water puzzle. God. That puzzle still pisses me off.
Yeah, no, it's for those that don't know what Grim's talking about or what I'm talking about. If you're new to the Resident Evil franchise or you never played the classics, RNG stands for Random Number Generator, which basically means that throughout the course of the game, the events, like certain areas, the things that you would get would be different. And I'll give you a prime example is when you go to the Raccoon Police Department and you go to the STARS office, there's a locker there. Now, when you open the locker, there's like a 50% chance that a Magnum appears or a 50% chance that a grenade launcher appears.
Mm-hmm.
So each playthrough, because of RNG, was very unique. It was very different than the last playthrough. And that was throughout the entire game. And Grim, I know you're talking about the water puzzle. All the puzzles had their own RNG, where it wasn't a set puzzle. Where, like, if you were opening a locker in the RPD with a 4-digit number, that 4-digit number wasn't always the same every playthrough. And that's what that RNG is, that random number generator. It changes it every time, just adding to that replayability.
Right.
And that's something I want to get into as well, Grim. The replayability of these classics, again, there's a reason why they've lasted as long as they have, and as this franchise has lasted as long as it has, because of these three games. They really broke the barriers open, let the floodgates out. Because with Resident Evil 1, the original Resident Evil, there were multiple different endings you can get. Remember that?
Yeah.
Do you remember what they are? Or just a couple of them? You don't got to name every single one, obviously.
Well, essentially, just either surviving by yourself, having everyone survive.
Yeah. There was a lot of different. Yeah, there was a lot of different endings. There was like the bad ending. That's what you were saying is you're the only one to survive. But if you did certain things throughout the course of the game, you can save some of your other members of the team.
Right.
And then the best ending is getting everybody out of the mansion alive.
Yep.
So, of course, that adds a level of replayability. Plus, there are two characters that you can play as, which also, another thing that Capcom put out there, really added to just the excitement. Because remember, so as Chris, when you play as Chris, you had 6 item slots. So when you go to your item menu, you can see your health bar, your health status, and then there was the items that you could pick up, how many items you could pick up. Chris had 6, and Jill had 8, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I believe so.
And so those two characters right there, you could either choose as playing as Chris Redfield or Jill Valentine. members of Stars. You wanna talk about? You wanna explain what what Stars is all about, Grim?
Uh, the best way that I can describe it is STARS stands for. Wow, I can't even. Oh no, wait. Special Tactics and Rescue Squad.
Yep. Yep. Special Tactics and Rescue Squad. And both Chris Redfield and Jill Valentine were a part of that team.
Yeah.
And going into the Arklay Mountains to investigate this incident at the Spencer Mansion, because there was this like weird thing going around. You know, some kind of like, sickness going down.
Yeah.
So, and missing persons disappearing into the Arklay Mountains.
Yeah.
So they send this squad out there so you could either play as Jill Valentine, which was the easier scenario because you had more item slots, or Chris Redfield, who had 6 item slots. And each character, right?
Yeah.
They each had their own specific skill or specific item that they brought to the table. So as Chris Redfield, he was equipped with a lighter that didn't take up an item slot. It was just like a personal item that he brought to the game, which you ended up using later on for a couple different scenarios. And then Jill Valentine with the lockpick, where certain doors or certain areas that were locked with a simple lock, if you played as Jill, you were able to unlock it using the lockpick. As Chris, you would have to find small keys hidden around the mansion to get into those particular rooms.
Yeah.
What was one of your favorite? So what was your favorite playthrough for Resident Evil 1, Grim, and why?
I stuck with playing Jill every single time because of the fact that she had more space. She had the lockpick. I mean, obviously Barry, she didn't get it until after they went back into the hallway to see if, get back to Whisker and tell him, hey, we found zombies, whatever. But just the fact that, Jill's scenario was easier. She had more space. She got the lockpick and was able to get into just about every room with it. I mean, not literally every room, but the majority of the rooms with just the lockpick.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite scenarios as well. Even though I have beaten the game, what's funny is at this point, because of how often I switch around which games I'm playing, I still haven't completed. Believe it or not, I still haven't completed all the scenarios in Resident Evil, the first one.
You didn't play both scenarios?
I played both scenarios. I've beaten it as Chris, and I have beaten it as Jill, but I didn't get all the particular endings you can get. I guess I should have been a little bit more specific there.
Well, if you ever get around, I'm just mentioning this real quick. If you ever get around to doing the remaster, good luck.
Yeah.
Because that, you're gonna have to go through even more hoops on there than on the original.
Hey, that's one of the things I love about it, is because of the challenges that these games provide.
Yeah.
Going back to that replayability. Almost 30 years later, I still find myself, if I'm having a bad day, I grab my copy of Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. Hold on a second. And just fire this up. And this is the original copy I bought from back in the day. And I've been having the dropsies today. But there you can see the back of the game right there. I showed the front of the game. And back then, that's when you would get the Dino Crisis demo disc that came with it, because they released around the same time. I don't think on the same date. I don't remember correctly.
Well, that's where Google comes in, friend. See? Here, let's see. All right, hold on here. Let me wait just 1 second. Let me. Oops. Okay, here. Well, okay, I just highlighted it for me, and I completely looked past it. Yeah, okay. All right. The original Resident Evil came out March 22nd, 1996. But let's see here. Let's look at Dino Crisis, shall we? Okay. And then where is it? Come on. July 1st, 1999.
So you said the original Resident Evil was 1996?
Yeah, March 22nd, 1996. But you're
the thing is so Resident Evil 3 Nemesis had the demo disc for Dino Crisis. We're not talking about the OG Resident Evil. When did Resident Evil 3 Nemesis came out? I know it came out in 99 as well. I just don't remember the specific date.
Shit. Yeah, my bad.
You're good. You're good, dude.
September 22nd, 1999. So Resident Evil 3 Nemesis came out after Dino Crisis, not before.
Very interesting. And if I remember, hold on a second. I want to pull something up here. Dino Crisis. What is it? PS1 game. I don't remember if the original Dino Crisis, because I thought that the original Dino Crisis came with a demo disc of Resident Evil 3 Nemesis and vice versa. Resident Evil 3 Nemesis had the Dino Crisis demo. I don't see it anywhere here. I thought that was a thing back in the day. I'm not seeing it here on Google. Let me see. What if I type in game with Resident Evil 3 Nemesis demo? Yep. Okay, it did have. So Dino Crisis did have a Resident Evil 3 Nemesis demo disc in it.
Okay.
And hold on a second. We're just going to switch screens here so I can show you. If you look here, this is the Dino Crisis version of the game with the RE3 Nemesis demo. And then this is the one I have right here. And I always loved that shit back in the day, just having, getting, and it was a great way of marketing because you got to experience a full playthrough of either game, but then got a taste of the other one in the form of a demo. What a way to market your games. Like, oh wow, I really like Dino Crisis. And I checked out the Resident Evil 3 demo it came with. Now I want to go out and buy that, or vice versa.
Yeah.
Really was I always love that shit about the older games. Just getting to play demos and shit like that. We still see some demos nowadays coming in form of a digital demo you can download before a game comes out. We saw that with Resident Evil 4 Remake.
Mm-hmm.
But it was something about getting that demo disc that, as a kid, you're like, all right, I got to see what the demo's about. I got to check this out. It was just so much fun.
Right.
But yeah, going back to it, each Resident Evil game, Resident Evil 1, Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, one of the things I loved about that stuff, Grim, was that you could play. In Resident Evil 1, there was 2 characters that you could play as, Chris Redfield and Jill Valentine, as we stated earlier. Then Resident Evil 2 really ramps it up. I mean, they still use the fixed camera angles. They still had the same, the graphics. You could see the graphics were like definitely improved a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the story just really expanded even further. And there were also 2 characters that you could play as in Resident Evil 2 OG, which were, I know you remember these guys, Grim. Leon S. Kennedy, Claire Redfield.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Want to talk about which one of those characters were your favorite to choose from in the OG?
Claire.
You were a Claire player?
I was, yeah.
I always went Leon. I just love the shotgun. I remember as a kid, I didn't care too much for Claire's crossbow, which was another change in Resident Evil 2, where when you played, it came with 2 discs at that time, because they really, with everything that they put into Resident Evil 2, couldn't just be put on 1 disc back then. So you got your Leon disc and your Claire disc.
Right.
Which, as you can see right here, I got my copy of Resident Evil 2 OG. And just to show you guys how this looked... Oh, I actually have... Sorry. I had the Leon one already in my PlayStation 1 over here. But let me just spin these around a bit. Here we go. Just for presentation. And then, like you can see right there, that was the Leon disc. Came with the game booklet. And then you could fire up that one, or if you wanted to go Grim's, like in Grim's direction, you could put in the Claire disc. And even though the story was very similar, there were some differences in each playthrough. Do you remember what the differences were, Grim? I know you just played this shit recently. Now that they have the ports on PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
Let's see if you can name the differences between Leon's campaign and Claire's campaign. Let's see how many differences you can name. I just gave you one.
They have different interactions.
There are different interactions. What was the thing I just said? Why I liked playing as Leon and not Claire as much.
You prefer his shotgun over her crossbow.
Exactly. There's a spot in the beginning of the game that you're introduced to Kendo's gun shop, and the owner Kendo, if you play as Leon, he holds a shotgun to you, and if you play as Claire, he's got a crossbow. So those were some other things that they added that were different. What else do you remember? What other differences? I know you said the different interactions. We got the different weapons upon the start of the game, and throughout the game, if I remember correctly.
If as long as you don't pick up anything on your way to the RPD, and then you go down beneath.
Oh no! That happens. Okay, so that happens with both. You're talking about the Brad Vickers zombie?
Yeah, but they have different costumes.
Oh, sorry. Okay, sorry. I didn't. Yep, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, they have
That's
different.
good.
They have different costumes. With Claire's, it gives you like a flame jacket, flame pants, and shit. She gets a 6-shooter, fast shooting 6-shooter.
Mm-hmm.
But if you play as Leon and do it, he too gets an outfit. I think he gets two outfits. He gets a baseball cap and a sleeveless shirt and pants. And if you're using that outfit, he holds his gun differently to the side, and it's like, okay, not straight, but to the side. And then there's that, and then you have like a skull leather jacket, a leather jacket that has a skull on the back, and so on and so forth.
Yep. And one of the other differences that I can remember off the top of my head, when you play as Leon, throughout the game, you're going to be introduced to an NPC. Well, she's an NPC at the time. She becomes a playable character later in the game. You are introduced to Ada Wong.
Yeah.
And Ada Wong, for those that have played the original, that name sounds familiar. Because at the end of the original game, you had to type in password and a username, and Ada was one of the things you had to type in.
Yeah.
And so they from that story, then they really introduce you to Ada Wong and who she is and what she's doing there.
Yeah. And then I remember her boyfriend's name was also used.
Yep, John.
Her alleged boyfriend. I don't really.
Allegedly. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about that, because I'm just like, obviously they don't really go into detail regarding him. I mean, not.
Yeah, we don't know too much about John, other than that Ada was basically using him, because Ada was she's a double agent.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, hold on a second. Let me get a reload over here on a Saturday evening. So with Resident Evil 2, you get introduced to Ada finally for the first time, as you briefly get a little idea of, you recognize the name from the first one. Now in this one, we learn who Ada is, what she's doing there, and you see her through Leon's campaign, and then at one point during the game, you play as Ada, which I thought was really cool that they did that, because I think that, did they have that in the original Resident Evil? Didn't you get to play as Rebecca for a short stint of time in the original? If you played as Chris Redfield.
Yeah, but that was only to do the plant mixture, to kill the plant.
Yeah, the V-Jolt.
Yeah.
I remember you got to play as somebody else.
Yeah.
And so we see that in Resident Evil 2, because as you play as Leon, throughout the game you get to switch over, play as Ada, and then when you play as Claire, you get introduced to Sherry Birkin, who happens to be the daughter of the scientist, William Birkin and Annette Birkin.
Right.
And they were the creators of the T virus and the G virus, which was so in the first one, right? That was the T virus.
I believe so. Yeah.
And in in Resident Evil 2, that's when we were introduced to the G virus, which was supposed to be a much stronger strain. And William Birkin injects himself with it. That was a holy shit moment right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, as you play as Claire, you go throughout the game, right? And then you get to play as Sherry at some point. And so, again, going back to what we were talking about earlier, it was just the differences that you could see between each playthrough that just kind of added just a little twist, a little change to things that made the replayability just that much more fun.
Yeah.
what are some things about the classics that you'd like to talk about, Grim?
The soundtrack, but with the first game though, I strongly recommend that you avoid a specific version of the first game because the soundtrack on that version is dog shit. It is terrible.
He's talking about this one, ladies and gentlemen. The Dual Shock edition.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Resident Evil. Absolutely nothing will change that. But no, like Wiz just showed you guys, the DualShock version of Resident Evil 1. I swear to God, the fucking soundtrack is like nails on a chalkboard. I swear.
Oh yeah, especially when you get to like further in the game. I think when you get to like the Neptune Shark area, it's brutal.
Yeah, no, it's terrible. I'm like, no, because I'm like, I can't remember. I mean, I can't remember the full story behind that shit.
Yeah, I know there was some reasonings or some shit behind it, or they were just trying something different when they came out with the DualShock edition. Just even trying to find, like, getting your hands on an original copy of Resident Evil, still up there in price. Let me tell you that much.
Yeah.
Game ain't cheap because it's such a rare find. It's such a classic game, and that there's only so many copies, so many physical copies of it that exist these days.
Yeah. All the more reason I'm grateful that PlayStation put all 3 games on their PlayStation Plus catalog.
Yep. What going to the soundtrack? Which one of the OGs had like your favorite soundtrack on it between 1, 2, and 3?
Probably 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to say 2.
I like 2. Out of all of them, though, for me, it was Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. Just the save room music.
Yeah.
I love it. I love with Resident Evil 2. I love when you beat the game. That ending music when you beat the game in the OG RE2. That was a banger right there. For me though, RE3 Nemesis, the startup screen. Ah, I love that shit, dude. The save room music, so good.
Yeah.
That was the one that hit home for me, dude.
Right. And that's actually another difference between Resident Evil 2's scenarios. The ending song during the end credits, it's not the same song. It's different. The A and B end credit song is different.
That's true. We didn't even get into the B scenarios. You want to talk? We were talking about. So, ladies and gentlemen, we were just talking about RE2 OG and the different characters that you can play as throughout the A scenario. We didn't even get into how when you want to talk about how the different scenarios go and how you unlock the different scenarios and what they are?
To unlock the B scenarios, you have to obviously you have to first play the A scenario. But yeah, obviously if you're playing on the original PlayStation, you have an original PlayStation copy. You have to switch out the discs, obviously.
Yep.
But if you play it on the PS4 and 5, like I've been doing the last month, because for anyone, PlayStation released the original Resident Evil 2 and 3 on their catalog August 19th. But anyway, I'm sorry. Where I'm going with this is the way to switch out the scenarios. Well, I mean, I just mean, between the characters. I don't mean like Leon A and Claire B and so on. There's it's a little bit more it's not as straightforward as it is with the original PlayStation version. What you have to do is you have to press pause like you're going to rewind the game, right? Scroll down to options, and then within the options menu, there's an option to switch disc. It says switch disc or switch something. And then that's how you get to the B scenario or another character, because it's got Leon and then Claire and so on and so forth. So it's a little bit more of a pain in the ass to get to the the next character compared to the original PlayStation version.
Yeah. As compared, like you just said, compared to just switching the disc out, but for the console version. But yeah, I always thought that was really cool. Like when you beat the A scenario, and then it's like you have unlocked the B scenario. And I'm like, what? And what's really cool about that is that you get to the way they do that is as such, like, I mean, they really fleshed it out more in Resident Evil 2 Remake, but it's like when you're playing, for instance, if you play Leon A's scenario and you go through the game,
mm-hmm.
you unlock Claire's B scenario. And that's basically, as what you'll see in the beginning of the game is they get separated. So when you play it under the Leon A scenario, you go through the game, and Claire is also still doing her thing. And that's what the B scenario is. You get to see it from Claire's side while Leon is going through his main scenario. You get to see like what Claire's doing on the sidelines. And vice versa. If you play Claire A, you unlock Leon B.
Yeah. And I don't know if it's just me, but that's probably one of the main things I didn't like about the remake of Resident Evil 2. The fact that they did not interact as much as they did in the original. They cut out like 90% of their fucking interactions. They only interacted twice? Throughout the whole fucking remake?
There was once in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then towards the end, if I remember correctly, towards the end of Remake, when Claire gets to the computers, like, you get to talk to the Leon A scenario version of Leon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now that I think about it, you're right. I can't think of how many more times they interacted where you're saying in the OG RE2 that there were way more interactions between the A scenarios and B scenarios set up.
Yeah, there was.
That's something I didn't catch. I didn't realize that until you just brought it up, and I'm like, holy shit. Yeah. That sounds right.
Yeah, because remember, no matter what scenario you're doing in the original, you have to run up to in order to get the unicorn thing. I can't remember what it's called for the life of me.
The unicorn emblem?
Yeah. No matter what, in the original Resident Evil 2, you have to run up and you have to run up to the STAR's office to grab it. You look at Chris's diary or whatever, and then that's where the emblem is. You pick up the emblem, and then Claire or Leon comes through, shows up, you guys interact, whatever, right? But in the remake, they completely fucking cut that out. I mean, because you have to, in the remake, you have to get to, you have to go to the STAR's office to get a bomb or a battery for the bomb.
Yep, I remember that.
Right? But you don't get a unicorn emblem from up there, and you also do not obviously you don't interact with Claire or vice versa. Compared to compared to the remake. So I'm sorry. I mean compared to the original. So
yeah.
It's like I get it. Obviously it's a remake. Emphasis on remake, so of course they're going to change a lot of shit. But that's my ultimate point regarding that. The fact that they cut out the majority, probably like 80 some or 90 some percent of their interacting.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that until you just mentioned it. I'm like, holy shit. Now that I go back, those were certain things. There's so much that you can dive into, whether you play the OGs or the remakes. And there's so much going on. It's very easy to forget certain things or not notice certain things unless, of course, you put a lot of time into the game, or you got a photogenic memory or photographic memory. Sorry.
Right.
Oh, here I am dropping more shit. Although I'm getting lucky this time, I keep catching it before it hits the floor. Going into now Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. So this is one of the things that I really loved about Resident Evil is when you're playing 1, 2, and 3, it's the evolution of the bioweapons that you end up fighting. In Resident Evil 1, you fought zombies, were your classic monsters that you were pinned up against. And then, of course, there were the zombified dogs, also known as the Cerberus.
Yeah.
There was the boss fights between all three games. I mean, the original had the gigantic snake Yawn in the attic, and then you fought him again later on. Then there was, what was it? The Neptune. We talked about the sharks earlier, where we were talking about how bad the music was with the DualShock edition.
Yeah.
But what I'm getting into is because, where all these enemies, they kind of like make their place and make their appearances in the other ones, there is one particular enemy, one particular boss that had evolved throughout the time. In the original Resident Evil, at the end of the game, you face the Tyrant, a super mutant, like just insane boss fight, standing at like 8 feet tall. Only to go forward to the second game, you got another version of a Tyrant that we all deemed and called Mr. X.
Yeah.
And Mr. X would stalk you. So where you, in the original, you fought the Tyrant at the end of the game, in the Resident Evil 2 OG, Mr. X, also a Tyrant, a BOW, would make an appearance in the B scenarios and stalk you throughout the game a little bit. Then we get into Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, where, as you see in the title, and as you can see in the picture above me right there, Nemesis was standing at, I believe, 9 feet tall, and he would stalk you throughout the city. Like, there was, you never really had a moment of peace. Just when you think you're going down a familiar hallway or a familiar area, next thing you know, you hear that music kick in and you hear stars. And you know shit's going down.
Well, here, you know what? Here, I actually want to do a little research here, even though my camera's like really lagging right now.
What games? And that reminded me of the Terminator. What do you? Oh yeah, I see that. Oh, there it goes. It's kicking back. So what are you looking up over there? I hear you clicking away. What's going on?
Okay, all right. I googled it. I googled how tall is Nemesis in Resident Evil 3. I mean, it doesn't really give a straight answer, but it says Nemesis's height differs between game appearances, generally being around 7 feet 3 inches.
Okay.
You know, 7 foot 3 inches in the original Resident Evil 3, and some movie adaptations, while being depicted as closer to 8 feet or more in the Resident Evil 3 remake and other games like Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City. The specific height varies, with some sources suggesting 7'10" for the remake and others placing the original at roughly the same height as the T-103s it was based on. So the gist is it's around. They're generalizing it as around 7 feet.
Around 7 feet.
Yeah, between 7'3" and 7'10", but the tallest being around 8 feet tall.
See, I got this over here. I can't quite pull it up to where it's bigger. Hold on a second. How do I visit? Here we go. I'm on Reddit right now. Mm-hmm. So I did this height. So right here, we have, this was done, I believe, 5 years ago or something. Got bored today, so I did this height chart, which put the big guns of the series into context. Just switch over to this scene right here. As you can see, we have Mr. X here. He is one of the smallest of the tyrants. Yeah, so in this order, like you see all these guys over here. If you look at the Mr. X here with the fedora hat, and then Nemesis next to him, and then the tyrant next to Nemesis. I didn't realize this, but apparently the tyrant is taller than Nemesis. Nemesis is taller than Mr. X. I did not realize that. I didn't know that. You learn something new every day, huh?
Yeah, interesting fact.
Yeah. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. But yeah, I always loved with Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, between the soundtrack, the gameplay, you go through as Jill Valentine as she's trying to escape Raccoon City before it's destroyed. Mm-hmm. And you run into characters like Nikolai, Mikhail, and of course one of my favorites, other than Jill Valentine, of course, is Carlos. Mm-hmm. Excuse me. Carlos in the original, let me tell you something, Grim. I really enjoyed seeing that as you play through the originals and how the character development just gets better and better. Like when you played Resident Evil 1 as Jill Valentine, you get to Resident Evil 3 and you can see that, you know, she's been through some shit, Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, and this is her last escape. And of course, all these other characters that you run into. At one point, we talked about the dual characters that you can play as in the first one, and the second one, well, of course, it makes its return in Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, because you start off as Jill Valentine, and then later throughout the game, Jill gets infected, only to have the game put you in control of Carlos as he looks for a serum to get Jill back on her feet. And, I just always loved, how you got to go through the game and you weren't just one set character throughout the whole game.
No.
Or, you got to play as Jill and Carlos. And again, just the different versions that, the different characters that you could choose to play as. Like with Resident Evil 2, again, going back to Leon and Ada, and then Claire and Cherry. And then Resident Evil 1, getting to play as Jill Valentine or Claire Redfield, sprinkle in a little Rebecca Chambers,
Yeah.
So, to close off this episode, I thought it'd be fun, Grim,
Yeah, what's
to
up?
look at the original trailers to Resident Evil 1, Resident Evil 2, and Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. You know, we're going back a bit. I got Resident Evil 1, Resident Evil 1 Nemesis, Resident Evil 1 1996 PS1 trailer from GameStar 400.
All right, here, let me see. Gotta pull up the tube view.
Tube views, YouTube's tube. You, what the hell?
All right, come on. Is it gonna load for me, or am I gonna have to wait 30 years? Yo. Fuck. The con of not being able to fucking use my damn ad blocker anymore.
Hey. But let me know when you got it pulled up, brother. Let's watch this. I think it'd be fun to watch this together.
Shoot.
You know, almost 30 years of Resident Evil, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go back to the trailers and how it all started.
Here, let me see.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the one that I see over here is from GameStar 400. 89,000 views. 9 years ago, this was uploaded.
All right, I had to search. I had to specify it more for me. Resident Evil game trailer. I'm like I don't know if it. Yeah, like.
I put in Resident Evil 1996 trailer.
Okay, all right. I'm sorry for dragging this out. It's just it's giving me shit. It's giving me newer Resident Evil shit specifically for Requiem at this point. And
that's, I put Resident Evil 1 it's Resident Evil 1 1996 PS1 trailer.
Yeah. You said GameStar 400?
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, I found it. It only took me 30 minutes. No, I'm kidding. I found it. I gotta see if it's gonna. Okay. All right. Okay. It's all right. It did not do an ad for me. So all I gotta do is just let some of these videos on the side load for me. Have some of the comments load so that it doesn't lag too much. All right, man. Go ahead and say when.
3, 2, 1, play.
Alpha Team is flying around the forest zone situated in northwest Raccoon City, where we're searching for the helicopter of our compatriots Bravo Team, who disappeared during the middle of our mission.
You haven't found it?
No, I haven't found it yet. Bizarre murder cases have recently occurred in Raccoon City. There are outlandish reports of families being attacked by a group of about 10 people. Victims were apparently eaten. Bravo Team went to the hideout of the group and disappeared.
Look, Chris!
Talk about an intro, right?
Yeah.
This is 1996.
It was Bravo Team's helicopter. Nobody was in it. but strangely, most of the equipment was still there. However, we soon discovered why.
Oh my God. This is what we were talking about earlier, ladies and gentlemen. They filmed actors and actresses to create this.
They did, yeah.
Man, that got graphic.
Yep, sure did. Must have got.
Joseph!
Yeah, it's obviously the uncensored trailer.
Yeah. I don't ever think I've seen this version of this one. Yeah, you're right. They really had it all out there on this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they sure did.
Jill, run for that house!
Spencer Mansion.
Chris Redfield. Jill Valentine. Barry Burton. Rebecca Chambers. Albert Wesker.
Oh my God.
Resident Evil.
So good. So good. I wonder if they have, what was it? The Resident Evil 2 1998 trailer. Let's see if that's up here. Yeah, I got Resident Evil 2 trailer for, where is this? From Duo Brown. This was uploaded 8 years ago. Hold on a second. Give me 1 second. I apologize. I'll be right back, Grim. I gotta use the restroom.
All right.
You've been working from home.
Fucking ads, man. Here, I gotta refresh that shit. So it'll fucking go away. I hate not being able to use my fucking ad blocker. Jesus Christ.
All right. Sorry about that.
It's all right.
Did you find the trailer?
Yeah. You said from Duo Brown, 57,000 views from 8 years ago.
It's not the one I got. It's. Oh wait. Yes, 57,000. Yes. Same one. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, play.
What
I
happened?
love the
By
change
the
because
time
in the
I
first
noticed
one we
something
had
was wrong, the entire city
live
was
actors.
infested with zombies.
And now we get cutscenes
About 2 months ago, there was this incident
what is that called?
involving these zombie-like creatures. Chris
Not
and
live
the other
actors,
stars members
but like you can see like how the
discovered
changes
that
happen.
Umbrella was behind
Now it's actual
everything
in-game cutscenes.
at the risk of their own lives. But no one believed them.
Just so, oh my
Chris,
God. There's Ada.
Jill, Barry. Every last Stars team member has disappeared.
Who are you?
Ada Wong.
My name's Claire. What's yours?
Sherry.
Do you know where your parents are?
They both work at the Umbrella Chemical Plant, near the city limits.
I won't let anyone take the G-Virus away from me. G-Virus? Its potential is even greater than that of the T-Virus.
The monster that's been tearing my place apart is yet another product of the G-Virus. An ultimate bioweapon.
God, it just looks so good. And then, of course, last but not least, we have what? Resident Evil 3 Nemesis.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 3 Nemesis trailer 1999. This is the official trailer for this one right here. This one's by Simon. And this was uploaded 11 years ago. Trailer of the best game ever made. Let's go. You find it, buddy?
I did.
All right, let me know when to count down.
All right, hang on. I don't know if it's going to be... You're going to let me... Oh, no. Okay. All right, it looks like it will. I assumed that I'd have to sit through an ad, but I do not. However, I do want to let the...
All right, so shall I count down?
Hold that thought just for a split second. I'm just letting the page load for a minute.
Yeah, of course. Let me know when I'm good to count down.
All right, ma'am. Go ahead.
All right, 3, 2, 1, play.
This is Chopper Delta, preparing to drop off at area E9507.
What are they? No!
So good. So good. Just taking that trip down memory lane right there. Just something else. Something else, right, dude?
Yeah.
Oh. And, thanks for entertaining that idea, by the way. Like, it just kind of came to my head. Like, what better way to end the show than with the original Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3, using, those trailers right there, to end the show with the trailers for 1, 2, and 3. It's just, it's changed gaming, to me, in my opinion, forever. And as you can see, as we have, these first 3 original games, then after that, we got Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil 5, Resident Evil 6, 7, 8, and Requiem coming out next year. It's been almost, 30 years of just amazing, just really, really awesome Resident Evil games. And also side games. The franchise just grew so big, and so many ideas were out there that, games like Resident Evil Survivor and Resident Evil Code Veronica.
Yeah.
Resident Evil Revelations 1 and 2. Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Not that they were all the most popular titles in the world, but none of these games would have existed without these first 3 taking off the way they did and leaving that impact on the gaming community, the Resident Evil community. It's just, I'm so happy to be a part of this, and just to have gone through it and experienced Resident Evil, and seeing the remakes and remasters, and now, again, with Requiem coming out, very excited to play that one. Coming out February 27th, 2026.
Yeah, I'm definitely pre-ordering that day one.
Hell yeah, dude. Well, Grim,
yeah,
this has been a lot of fun.
Oh, absolutely.
As always, thank you for, taking the time, just taking time out of your day, and, the both of us getting together, and, now we're on episode 3 of the Grim Wiz Project. Having a lot of fun doing this. There's a cat behind me destroying Papa K's chair. Hey, Bowser. But yeah. And to everybody that watches, whether you watch on my channel, the Mr. Whiskers YouTube channel, or Grim Reaper's channel over here. Was it Grim Reaper 91, right?
Yeah.
We appreciate you taking the time out of your day or your evening to check out our Grim Wiz Project. And, we're just a couple of gaming nerds that really love video games, especially when it comes to Resident Evil and these retro old school games that have just kind of been just imprinted on our minds and our hearts, and so many memories with these games. Grim, anything else you'd like to add?
I love these games so much. I'm glad I've been around for 30 years worth of Resident Evil.
Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah. So feel free to, if you enjoyed the video, remember to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next episode. Grim, have a fantastic rest of your night. Take care, everybody. We'll catch you guys in the next one.
See you guys next time.